Hi, it's Mark from Mind Frontiers, Master NLP and Hypnotic Practitioner. Well, I was hoping for more people on, but we'll see. Let's hope the word gets around. Now, I want to talk to you today about a little known secret that's scientifically proven that actually can change how you think. And it's so simple. You'll be ever so surprised at how simple this actually is. Now, when you have a thought, your body reacts and it produces chemicals. I want to tell you a little story. There was a very famous hypnotherapist who, as he was growing up, was walking with his parents, and his parents said, "Watch out for the dog mess." So he looked down and looked at the dog mess. And as he looked down at the dog mess, he actually stood in it. So his parents actually said, "Oh, that's horrible." Now suddenly, instead of being, "Oh, well, it's the dog mess that's horrible," he associated him being horrible. So he started walking around, with his head down, always being aware for any more dog mess, because he didn't want to get into any more trouble. But when you're looking down, you're actually accessing your feelings. So if you're having a bad thought, you're actually accessing your feelings if you look down to the right. So he spent 20 years or so walking around like this, and even when he got home, his body posture, which is the scientific thing I want to talk about, was that he would sit down, and again he would look down to the right, and he was still accessing those feelings. And his shoulders began to hunch up. And what this does is send a signal to your brain, which is interpreted by the brain that we need to send out some chemicals. Well, the chemicals it sends out are not really helpful chemicals. They're the flight or fight chemicals that we need to access if there's an immediate danger. Well, we don't need that when we're just having a thought. If you're running out in front of a truck or a lorry, then yeah, we need those chemicals around our body. But long term, those chemicals around our body, they create things like heart disease, kidney disease, liver disease, cancer. All known causes of illnesses can be caused by the excess of these chemicals, the cortisol and the adrenaline that's going around your body. And that's all down to the body posture and the thought that he had. So the thought he had, "Oh, that's horrible," so he adopted that body posture. So as a little example, for those that watch this video, I want you to imagine a thought, and not a nice thought, any thought, it doesn't have to be, and then look at your body posture. Most of the time you will be adopting a certain position where you're hunched up and you're looking down to the right, and you won't even know that you're doing it. You might even be putting your tablet there or your phone, and you'll be looking down constantly, and that sends out these negative chemicals. You might even have the telly down to the right. You might not know that that's where it is. But what happens if we change? So if you was to now take a nice deep breath and stand up and look forward, you're actually changing the balance in your body. You will start to send out serotonin and dopamine, which are the opposite to adrenaline and cortisol. And you'll actually start to feel a bit more relaxed. So this man, this hypnotherapist, had spent 20 or so years learning to walk like a depressed person. So he became depressed and anxious and all manner of things that were negative. But when he started to learn about himself, he says, "Well, I'm not confident," because all the time he was accessing those negative chemicals. He started to walk in a different way. he walked upright and he looked ahead, because he found that actually if you looked further ahead, you'd be able to see any sort of dog mess on the floor much sooner than if you're looking down. Have you ever seen somebody that comes into a room and you say, oh, they look so confident? Well, let me tell you something, guys. Confidence is something you do. It's not something you have. So if you was to say, well, can I open the door? Do I have to think about opening the door? Not most of the time. Most of the time, it's just something that you do. You don't think about it, so you do it with confidence. So when somebody walks into the room as a public speaker, they put on an act. So I walk up, I look ahead, and you'll get a different feedback from somebody that comes in and they look unconfident with shuffling their feet and hunching their shoulders and looking a bit nervous. So take a deep breath, sit up or stand up and walk in and tell me how that feels different. And another thing is, if you're sitting there and you're looking around and you're sitting in a hunched up position and you're feeling all sad and depressed and anxious, well, take a nice deep breath and look up. Look up to the right. It will change the state that you're in, because it's very, very difficult to access those feelings when you change your position. So if you are depressed and anxious, try looking in a mirror and have it just slightly above you. And then as a routine, to start training your brain to think in a different way, just look up and smile. And do this several times a day for a few minutes. This sounds very strange, and it is very strange, but you're training your brain to think differently by accessing different chemicals. Now, the other example I wanted to give you, we've already had the example of when you look down and you feel negative. So now I want you to imagine, just after you're feeling this negative vibe, taking a nice deep breath and changing your body posture and just looking ahead or even looking up and see if you notice any difference. Because long term, this can fool your brain and trick your brain to produce the chemicals that you need. These chemicals, the serotonin and the dopamine, they're calming chemicals. And when you have a thought, which isn't real anyway, then you can just change how you feel to some degree by changing your posture. And then it becomes about a repetitious habit. The more habits you can do, like sitting up and walking in a different way, providing that mobility wise you're able to do so. I'm sure even with mobility issues, you'd be able to just shuffle around a little bit and look up. You're changing the chemical balance in your body. So thanks for watching my video, guys. Please like and share my Facebook page, Mind Frontiers. Follow me on YouTube, follow me on Twitter. Visit my website, markglentonnlp.com, for more little techniques and things that we can do to try and change people's lives, because people say that life is rubbish. Well, let's change it, because life is what you make it. So thanks very much, guys, and I'll speak to you tomorrow. Bye.